welcome the second oral speaker, Zhang from Beijing City University. Let's welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay.
Could you please make it full screen?
Okay. Oh, no. Is that okay?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. My presentation is about the test on the design and effect of practical training for project planning and control using SPSS software for paired sample test and correlation analysis. The contents include 4 parts. The first one is introduction. Second, the design idea behind the practical training for project planning and control. Third, the effect of practical training. And the last one is conclusion. Part 1, introduction. Task-driven teaching is teaching method based on constructivist teaching theory. It reforms the traditional teaching with the core of imparting knowledge to interactive teaching with an aim of completing tasks. Its core lies in the goal of the task and creating a suitable teaching context, enabling students to learn in exploration with real tasks. Numerous studies have shown that task-driven teaching can be effectively applied in the teaching of various natural and social sciences. However, the research on task-driven pedagogy in project management is rare to see. As an applied undergraduate school, Beijing City University started the specialty of project management in 2015 and regarded project planning and control as one of its major modules. The module is consisted of a total of 45 hours, of which 30 for the theory and 15 for the practice. On completion of the theory learning, students will make use of the practical sessions for practical training, where task-driven method is used. Part 2, the design idea. The first one is the definition of the training purpose. The training purpose of this module is set as, through this comprehensive training program, students can be proficient in project definition and work structure decomposition, drawing network diagrams, and identifying critical paths, drawing Gantt charts, configuring project resources, and calculating project cost, project optimization control, and other project management practice, with the ability to engage in actual project planning, schedule, and control. And the next one is the preparation for practical training. Before the training begins, the teacher divides the whole class into groups, about 5 students. All groups are asked to bring the required materials to the training room, including at least 5 large pieces of paper, several markers, pencils, erasers, rulers, pairs of scissors, and tapes. The training room should have multimedia facilities and tables suitable for group discussion and work. And then the creation of training situations. Teacher asks students to choose and develop a project independently in groups, such as holding a cultural evening, a sports meeting, and a campus exhibition. All groups are required to completing training tasks for their own selected project through teamwork. The arrangement of training tasks. Teacher explains to students that it is the comprehensive training containing 5 parts. The first one is to carry out project definition and work breakdown structure, i.e. WBS. The second one is to draw a network diagram and identify critical paths. And the third one is to draw a Gantt chart. The fourth one is to estimate project cost. The last one is to carry out project optimization control. The execution of training tasks. Teacher guides students to perform tasks in the process of practical training, including, first, to control the completion of tasks. That is, each training task lasts 3 hours, with 2 for completing tasks, during which teachers should give necessary guidance to students, and the left one for reporting and interacting the tasks performed by each group. Second, to organize the presentation by each group. Each group needs to complete the task on a large piece of paper, then paste it on the blackboard or whiteboard, and delivers a presentation as a group in front of the whole class. Third, to guide interaction and comments. Each time, the group which is doing the presentation should provide at least 2 questions for other groups to answer to. The latter ones should reply with answers, evaluations, or suggestions. The whole process will be ended up with teachers' comments. The consolidation of the theoretical basis of practical training. The aims of practical training include combining the theory and practice, arousing students' cognition of the theory they have learned, applying the theory to training tasks, and deepening their understanding of the theory through training. Teachers should sort out and summarize the theoretical points involved in the training tasks for students to use. The assessment of practical training. The grade of this module is composed of learning attitude, 15%, on-class participation, 5%, stage assessment, 40%, and final assessment, 40%. The teacher will give a final assessment mark based on the performance of the student in the whole process of practical training, which is the student's final grade. Part 3, the effect of practical training. In order to test the effect of practical training, SPSS statistical software is used to analyze the usual and final scores of 44 students who took the course Project Planning and Control in the fall semester of 2019 to 2020. The Euro grade includes learning attitude, 15%, and classroom participation, 5%, which together accounts for 20% of the total grades. The descriptive statistical results of the Euro grades and final grades are shown in Table 1. This is the Table 1, descriptive statistics. It can be seen from the Table 1 that the sample volume is 44, and the average score of Euro scores is 86.25, with a minimum of 50 and a maximum of 100. The average value of final scores is 77.98, with a minimum of 59, a maximum of 86. In order to test whether there is a significant difference between the averages of Euro and final grades, a paired sample t-test is performed on these 2 categories. The results are shown in Table 2. Table 2 shows that the average of the Euro grades is 8.273, higher than that of the final grades, with a t-value of 4.570 and a p-value which is lower than 0.001. Therefore, the null hypothesis is rejected, and the averages of the Euro grades and the final grades are considered to be statistically significantly different. The observation of the average data illustrates that the final grades are relatively moderate, while the Euro grades are on the high side. The reason is that compared with hands-on training at the end of the semester, it is easier for students to get high scores for their usual academic performance. As long as students maintain a high attendance rate, listen carefully in class, and actively answer questions, they can get high or even full scores. Frequency analysis shows that there are 12 students who get 100 points for their Euro grades, which increases the average of the Euro scores. The maximum score for the final grades is 86 points, which is reached by only 6 students. This just shows that the final grades do better in reflecting and distinguishing the students' true practical abilities. Furthermore, in order to analyze the degree of correlation between students' performance in daily learning and final training, the correlation analysis between the Euro grades and final grades is carried out. The results are shown in Table 3. According to Table 3, the Pearson correlation coefficient of the Euro grades and final grades is 0.395, and the significance level is lower than 0.01, indicating that the two variables are highly positively correlated. In other words, in the practical training implemented at the end of the semester, the performance of students who study hard at ordinary times is better than those who do not study hard, which shows that students' training results can reflect the effects of ordinary learning, and the practical teaching design is more reasonable. The last part is the conclusion. In short, in the teaching process of project planning and control, the effective setting of project contexts and properly arranged training tasks can effectively satisfy students' curiosity, increase their learning interest, and cultivate their combined capabilities. Teachers should combine students' data in training and their interests, and properly guide and teach students in accordance with their aptitude, helping students improve their ability of applying the theory, deepening their understanding of the theory, and ultimately cultivating high-quality talents with both theoretical and practical capabilities. That's all for my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Zhang, for your inspiring speech. Time for question. Is there any question? Okay, if you have any question, please feel free to contact her by email or WeChat. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Okay, now let's welcome the third oral speaker.